What's going on YouTube? I know it's been a while, but thank you very much because we have finally hit over 1,000 subscribers. I never thought I'd hit the 1,000 subscriber mark this quickly. I planned to hit 1,000 subscribers within a year, and we've done it in about just over 6 months. So thank you for every single one of you who has engaged with the content and has messaged me directly on Instagram saying how much it's helped them or how much they benefited it. I also want to say a massive thank you for anybody who's watching this who has engaged or purchased any of my services, whether that's mixing down, mastering, one-to-one lessons, or my sample pack. I can't thank you enough, and the options it's opened for me with regards to leaving part-time jobs, doing music more full-time, it's really a dream come true, so thank you very much. But as I said on my Instagram, we're gonna do a Q&A. I haven't done a Q&A before. There's not many YouTubers in the music scene who do Q&As, mainly on Instagram and stuff like that. So I thought, why not do it for the 1,000 subscriber mark? So maybe you can get to know a bit more about me. And yeah, any questions you've got, they're gonna be answered. So let's kick it off with some of the questions, which I just got from an Instagram poll. So we have, any tips for producing only with headphones? So when producing just with headphones, you want to make sure that you have some good headphones specifically for producing. So I use the Dynamic DT 770 Pros 32 OHMs. They're very, very good for the price. If you're only producing on headphones and can invest in monitors, then maybe look at getting some more expensive headphones. I would just do some research on which ones are best. But my advice when just producing on headphones is don't have it too loud, because it can cause a lot of ear damage. Even I notice this nowadays doing a lot of lessons where I'll be having my headphones on for prolonged periods of time. Take short breaks because the sound is closer to your ears, so you're going to get ear fatigue quicker. And 3, just spend a lot of time listening to music in the headphones, not just producing. You're going to get a better feel of what music sounds like that is finished and mastered and is to a professional quality through headphones that you're using. So yeah, pretty standard stuff really. Everything that you would do on speakers, you just transfer to headphones. Just really be careful with the volume, because it's very easy just to crank it up, have it on full blast, and not notice the damage that it does to you short term, but it will do long term. Next one from the same person is, how do I get a clean mix? What is a good mixing rack on the master while producing? So to try and narrow this down into one little question, to get a clean mix is, 1, you need to learn your headphones or your speakers. You need to know your room or your headphones, vice versa, and understand where the flat areas are, where the boosted areas are, where the cuts are, so on and so forth. I wouldn't recommend putting anything on the master while mixing down. While producing, I'll just put a limiter on it. It's just going to allow it to be a bit louder, give you a bit of headroom, and make sure you're not going in the red on the master channel. But I have a whole mixing down course on this channel, so yeah, just go and check that out. It saves a lot of time me trying to explain it in details of how to compress and so on and so forth. So we have the next one. Do you think that beats created with sample packs are fully releasable? 100%. This is almost like a wives' tale of the music industry, that you need to be creating everything yourself, and every sound you make needs to be original. It's not the case if you're making bangers and you're using, so yeah, it does not make you a bad producer, or it doesn't make it fully releasable if you're using samples. But I would definitely recommend learning how to manipulate samples and putting your own spin on it. I think it comes across in a different way, and for the few people that still think that using samples is a negative thing, it resolves that issue of people going, oh, it's, he's used this sample, he's not a proper producer. But my opinion, if you're making bangers, you're making bangers. Who cares? Who cares how you got there? So, what is your favourite producer or DJ at the moment? Good question. So, I would probably say, producer-wise, it's probably a common one, but Wheats, I do really like Wheats. I really like his stuff recently. I think it's kind of leveled up, and it's got a really unique sound to it, which I really like. I really like the dark rolling beats with that sort of heavier hit, and those modular sounds. So yeah, and he's definitely one of my favourite producers. Per Hammer is another one of my favourite producers. Again, it's just like really unique, very, very underground, but I try and pull a lot of influence from that kind of underground sound with my own productions. DJ wise, I've seen Wheats a few times this year. I haven't been out much this year, unfortunately, because I've been building all of this. But yeah, Wheats is one of my favourites. Jamie Jones is really good. I've only seen him once, but seeing Jamie Jones really changed things for me, and how he DJ'd and the tunes he was playing and like the selection. So yeah, I think those would probably be my top two. Another really good one, which is just rememberable for me, is Detlef. When I saw Detlef live a few years ago, he really helped shape my sound. I was making a lot more minimal house at the time. I was still fairly new to producing, so I wasn't releasing. And then he came on, and it was really dark and underground, but it was still minimal. And yeah, that really sort of pushed me down the direction I've gone down nowadays with what I'm making. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a bit more insight into me personally. And then, how did your tracks get played by heavyweight DJs like Marco Carola? So, for the people that don't know, who are just watching this through YouTube and don't follow me on Instagram, I've had heavy support from Marco Carola on one of my recent edits. I'll throw a video up there, or maybe over there. So how that came about is my friends, Jack and Adam, who are head honchos of Special Delivery up in Newcastle, they wanted to start a free download series on SoundCloud to then eventually build into a label. They've always supported my music, and I really preach what they're doing up there. At the time, I was getting support from my edit, the Wiley edit, but I wasn't getting loads of support, so I thought, yeah, why not? You guys can have it. They put so much time and effort into getting it mastered, into promoting it, and so on and so forth. And it was kind of just luck that they sent it to Marco Carola on maybe a Wednesday or a Thursday. He then played it on the Friday night. It went viral on TikTok. It went viral on Twitter as well. I didn't see too much on Instagram, mind, but I think Twitter and TikTok are easier to go viral on nowadays. So yeah, it was just kind of luck because I've sent it to Marco Carola before. So yeah, really just luck, good timing, and it couldn't have worked out better for myself and the guys who have released a track, which it is out now as well. So I'll drop the link below. Dream label. I'm gonna say I'm still gonna stick with hot tracks. I think for me and my sound, hot tracks is more than hot creations. I just think of what it's done for the industry and like how Jamie's sort of really grown and expanded, and just the way that label's run, it looks so professional. I am struggling to get my music but played by Jamie. I think it's because my sound over the past year or so has taken a slightly different turn, a bit more darker, a bit more underground. Yeah, so maybe one day it will happen. I'm hoping it would. Other than that, another really weird dream one is Constant Black, which is Bernski's label, a branch off from his Constant Sound label. I really like the sounds on there. It's a massive influence on my music. So yeah, I think those two are probably going to be my top. And Box Red as well, which is Wheats's label, and I think that's achievable within the next year or two, personally. With what I'm creating at the moment, he seems to be shortlisting quite a bit, which is good. So yeah, those are my top three dream labels. Dream collab. This is an easy one to answer because someone's asked me this before on Instagram Q&A, and that would be Kyotero. I probably pronounced that wrong, but definitely him, just because I think the knowledge you would get would be second to none. If you look at his back catalogue, he's got like really minimal house tracks, and then there's like really dark underground tracks, then a bit more mainstream. I think he's even had a release on like Hot Creations. So yeah, he's a really talented producer, and I love the sounds that come out of it, and I love his DJ sets as well. So yeah, definitely dream collab. Do you plan on doing any music festivals next year? I guess you mean attend, because I'm not at the stage yet where I'll be playing at Creamfields, hopefully within 3-5 years. But currently, no, I don't have any plans. I should, because I know that something I'm not very good at is taking time off, or taking holidays and taking time off. For example, this year I've only been on 2 nights out, which is 4 days off. Every other time I've been in here, unless I've been sick. So yeah, I need to get to a music festival. I need to get to Ibiza next year. Maybe if I try and tell myself it's business related, it will make it easier for me to go and have that time off. But I really want to do Creamfields. I would really love to do a festival abroad, probably some waves, and I would love to go Ibiza. So I'm gonna try. This is gonna try and keep me accountable that I'm gonna do at least one of those things next year, and not be a studio rat / workhorse. So that goes on to another producing one. Best tutorials to start producing? I think he must be taking the piss, because it's my channel. So, you know, get to know, go below, and start watching my stuff. Amateur question, that is. Jokes aside, obviously my stuff is very helpful. Maybe it's a bit niche in the sound, but other than that, I would recommend Syntho. Syntho is really good. The quality of the content that they put out and the volume of the content that they put out is amazing, and I think it's worth every penny, personally. How did you get into minimal? What DJs got you into that particular vibe? Yeah, so I kind of touched on this. So my journey to minimal kind of went down a rabbit hole of just sort of electronic music. Always been around electronic music, always loved electronic music, dubstep, just mainstream EDM and stuff like that, being like really young. Then got into raving from a local brand down here called Casa. That was more mainstream kind of tech house, bit of minimal but more mainstream tech house. Then kind of just went down the rabbit hole once I started DJing and producing, then found minimal house, you know, kind of like the Piv, Robbie Doherty, that kind of sound. Really liked that, and really sort of fell in love with that. Started buying loads of records for that kind of sound, started making a lot of music in that kind of sound. Never got to release stage, but learnt a lot from playing those sort of tunes and falling in love with that genre. And then I kind of got to the point where I was like, I really love this minimal genre, but I miss the sort of heaviness and the darkness of like the mainstream tech house. And then that's kind of how I got down this pigeonhole of where I am today. Like I said, that Deadlift set I saw about 2 years ago was a pivotal turning point. In fact, I remember coming back into here the day after, traveling back from London after 5 hours, and trying to make something from that set. It was terrible because I was, you know, knackered and a bit hungover, shall we say. But yeah, that was the turning point, and that's what's led me down the rabbit hole to where I am today. Favourite DJs to watch? Touched on that. Gonna be Jamie Jones. Funny enough, I do actually really like drum and bass, so I quite like going to drum and bass raves and bassline stuff back in the day. I don't know if I have a favourite DJ within that genre. It was kind of just like whoever's on, but yeah, I am partial to a drum and bass rage. It kind of does make you rage, but a drum and bass rave every now and again. Who inspired you to start making music? No one really. So there's no specific person that has inspired me. What the process was for me to start making music was I started DJing November 2019. So November 2019 I started DJing. I had my first gig in February 2021 with my friend Harrison. Kind of fell in love with it there, and I never really had the thought process of wanting to be that next big DJ or that next big producer, but I definitely knew I wanted to be like a cool local DJ and like get loads of local gigs. So for me it was always a way of, okay, how can I separate myself from all the other local DJs? So the first thing I actually got was an RMX 1000, and my plan was to learn that and start taking it to gigs with me to like separate me and give the promoters locally some reason to sort of book me, because I have this RMX 1000, which is a dumb idea. Don't think like me, but and then so that never really worked, the RMX 1000, and then I did vinyl as well. I thought, I could be that local DJ on vinyl and that'd be really cool. That never picked up, no surprise. And then that kind of just led me to, what else is no one really doing? Well, no one's really producing. We had maybe less than 5 local DJs here that produce, that are releasing music regularly, and none of them were releasing music on the labels that I wanted to release on. So yeah, that's kind of what inspired me to start making music, and then the rest is history. I'm kind of at this point now where it's almost my full-time job, which is amazing, because if I've learned one thing in life from my 25 years on earth, is just if you can earn money from whatever makes you happy, then that is the best feeling in the world. You don't need to be a millionaire, you don't need to be the next Andrew Tate, you just need to be comfortable and be fulfilled. So yeah, that's kind of what inspired me to start making music, and it's one of these things I actually love and probably prefer over DJing personally. I'm quite comfortable with the fact that if I'd never had a DJ career, it never picked up, or if I didn't enjoy touring or traveling or whatever other aspects come with DJing, I know I'd have a very fulfilling career just with something to do with producing and teaching and the industry of music making, I suppose. So yeah, hopefully that was an interesting one to answer. What club is top of the list to play in? This is easy for me, it is DC10. I went to DC10 in 2019. It was the first club I went to in Ibiza. The night we landed, or the day we landed, sorry, we went straight there. And yeah, I just have amazing memories of that night and just sort of being like, wow, this is sick. So yeah, DC10 easily. Studio 338, again, I've been there quite a few times, so I just really like the way that club's set up, and I think Studio 338 is probably achievable within the next 3 years. So yeah, I think those are probably my top 2, and maybe Space or something like that. That'd be pretty cool, but yeah, I've never been Space, but maybe one day. Okay, so now a bit more producing one. What is the best Ableton stock plugin? I'm gonna say Echo, because that's what I use pretty much all the time. I prefer using the Ableton Echo over the Soundtoys stuff or any other Echoes. Mainly probably I've just had more time on it, so I know how to manipulate it. But I think it's super easy to use, super easy to understand, and it sounds good as well. It's very effective. So yeah, Ableton Echo, probably EQ8. That's another really good one, even though FabFilter's better, but EQ8's still amazing. So yeah, I think they're definitely sort of two of my top favourites that I use. Favourite tune I've ever done? Good question. Probably either my track called Relax or Unconscious. They were made together to be on an EP together. They're on 2 separate EPs nowadays, but they were very pivotal in like my sound. I felt like they were very unique. I made them about 8 months ago. What are we now? 10th? Yeah, about 8 months ago. So I felt like they're very unique, very me, and yeah, I really loved them. And something I've kind of learned from producing is the things you really like, and the things you find sort of unique about your sound, it might not be for other people. Yeah, probably Relax. I'm gonna stick with that one. I think it's sick, and I need to make another tune like it because yeah, I really like it. Favorite plugin for vocal manipulation? Soundtoy's little alter boy is really good because you can just shift the pitch of the vocal perfectly to fit the style of track. It kind of adds a bit of width to the vocal as well, which is really nice. So yeah, probably that one. Some echoes, delays, bit of reverb. I try and keep my vocal manipulation fairly simple. In fact, I'm probably going to do a video on this in the coming weeks because I've been teaching a few good techniques within the lessons I've been doing. So if you want to know that, then you can always book with the link below. And there we go. That is all the questions done. I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think I'm going to do more videos like these. I quite enjoy just sitting down here and speaking to a camera. Might even think about podcasts at one point. Might even think about more vlogs. I'm really not too sure. So if you could just interact below with some comments, let me know if you've enjoyed this kind of content, and if you have, I'll be sure to make more of it. I promise I'm going to be back with the tutorials, so we're going to have a track breakdown of one of my latest releases, and that will be out a week or so after this video. So I do apologise for the lack of content, getting my head around new work routines, leaving jobs, and the sort of expanding nature of the lessons and the mixing and the engineering I'm doing has been a bit mind-blowing for me in a positive way, but I am back and I will be making more content soon. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.